Battlefield 6. The open beta has launched to mostly rave reviews is what I've seen. People seem very satisfied with the product.
Positive.
You've been playing it. It's been breaking all kinds of online records.
On Saturday, I was in a queue of about 92,000. Got me in very, very quick.
Oh, very nice.
So it's actually been running efficiently, especially for as Battlefield standards go.
Right.
Notoriously, not the most comfortable releases in the past.
Yeah, very often don't launch in the greatest of states. So, I even saw the things of like player counts higher than Call of Duty. So
I could believe that.
I think the hype seems very high for this one. I'm not personally interested. Battlefield's not really a franchise that I find super interesting, but you've enjoyed it quite a lot in the past. It's been a few titles since I think you've jumped in.
Yeah, the last one was 4. I played the beta of 2042, and even then, I could tell that was going to be a rough one. Comparing that to this, night and day difference. I got a pretty good amount of time on the beta. My skill didn't particularly increase, but learning curve. I've been away for a long time. I played on PC. The first thing that you notice is I had to mess with my computer to get it to work. So the key thing is that they have an anti-cheat system, and they require you to enable something called Secure Bot. I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the world, but I had to go into my BIOS, which means you start up your computer and you press like the delete button to go into your like system settings to turn it on. Some of the settings were already correct, so it was an easy go in, flip the switch, but it definitely was annoying when I was trying to just get in and play the game. But once that was solved, I can actually open it. You have the couple of game modes. You got your classic Conquest, which is where you have the big battle. You have airships going in overhead, helicopters, tanks everywhere. You're trying to capture point to point to point and, reduce the enemy tickets, basically their lives, until you win. Breakthrough. I'm guessing this one came about, because I've been away for so long, in 2042 at the very latest. It doesn't involve as many vehicles as it does in Conquest, and rather than give you the entire map, it reduces it to just single areas, and it's kind of one group is attacking, the other is defending. The defenders have unlimited lives. The attackers have limited ones. They've got to take it before their lives run out. These games, surprisingly, seem to go longer than Conquest does, which it doesn't advertise it as such. It says it's like 20-minute long games. Those are not 20-minute long games. The first game I did was probably about that long, but most of them go upwards of around 40 minutes, which is how Conquest is branded. The big issue with this game mode was that the defenders had a massive, massive bonus. There was not a single game in which the attackers won, and it wasn't my skill issue. It was not, because the moment I would go to the attackers, I would lose, of course, but then when I would go to the defenders, I would win, even when I wasn't doing good. Respawn times are a lot quicker than they are in Conquest, so it's kind of made to where you can get in and die and then get right back into the fray. And a lot of the other game modes kind of serve this purpose a lot better, most notably King of the Hill. It operates the way you expect it to do. It's King of the Hill. A lot of the previews had said, this is another Battlefield game. It's another Battlefield game. But it's a well-made one, because like I said, there's not really any technical issues I came across, and the betas, let alone the games themselves, when they come out, are usually known to have a lot of technical problems. So I'm surprised and thankful that I didn't experience that many, and it gives me a lot of confidence that when they actually come out with the game, it's not going to have news reels of, people are waiting for the game, they can't get in, they can't boot up the game, whatever issues you might have pop up. Audio is great, the guns feel good to play. That's why I've always liked Battlefield. Battlefield, it's more gritty than Call of Duty. The trade-off is that you can't usually get in and have an easy time taking down an enemy left and right. You usually have to kind of struggle a bit more and lock in. Only then will you see some kind of positive result and actually start getting kills. The return of classes is something that a lot of Battlefield fans who have played the more recent ones like 2042 are very happy about. Whenever I play as the Assault, you get like a shotgun, and you can pull that out. You are really good at clearing buildings, especially good for breakthrough. And of course, it's for the person that just wants to try and get as many kills as possible. But I found that playing as the medic class was super fun. Going across no man's land effectively just to heal your guy and run back and still survive ends up being very fun, and you're contributing really effectively to the team, where even when I would have like 4 kills by the end of a 40-minute long game, because I revived so many people, I felt like there were many moments where battles were entirely dictated by me and the other medics healing people.
To the point of the medic being fun, obviously they've brought in that mechanic where you can drag allies and heal them as you're dragging them, so you can get them out of hot zones and so forth. Seeing a lot of really great TikToks of people, role-playing in voice chat of being like, I got you, soldier, come on, we're gonna, all that. So there's been a lot of really fun stuff online about that. And just, the internet's excited Which it's always great to see the internet excited in a positive way about a video game.
To your point, the dragging people to heal them, that's only accessible to like people on your squad. But one of the issues is those moments where you'll come across an enemy group and kill a bunch of them, but maybe you get killed and there's like one alive. Usually that is a triumphant moment. You're like, yeah, I beat them. If there's a medic nearby, which very often if you're dealing with large groups of people, there is, they're just all going to get revived. And so there were a lot of combat scenarios in which just kind of nothing happened on my end, regardless of the skill that I deployed. So moments like that can be kind of annoying. But thankfully, since you can only be revived physically by squad members, it didn't happen as much as it could have, but certainly, you know, the medic is very powerful.
I saw one guy playing it like it was Hacksaw Ridge.
Yes.
And so he's like, no, I'm a pacifist. I just go in and I heal people, and that's all I do. And I saw he got to like, I think it was like top 10 or top 11 highest scored players in the match. And I was like, good for you, man. Look at you having fun the way you want to have fun.
It's more fun than playing medic roles in a lot of other games like Marvel Rivals and Overwatch, which those can still be very fun.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's not get carried away here, Con.
You feel like a soldier, dude. You feel like a guy.
Let's not get carried away.
When I run through a group, I feel like they're not firing at me because of international law. But every now and then, they will.
They're not, though. They're not. You're just not getting shot.
Because it's like, the guy's with the defibrillator. He's trying to save somebody. You know, he's not really
Absolutely, they don't give a fuck about that. They don't. There's zero chance.
Of course, you have the engineer who they fix vehicles and destroy vehicles. Always useful. So that was the one I played the least with. You certainly would benefit from having a squad since you can spawn on them whenever you need to. You have equipment like, for example, the sniper has the ability to set a spawn point down so you can kind of get into the battle a little bit quicker, which is very useful for those Conquest breakthrough game modes where your map is, you know, pretty sizable, more so with Conquest. It seems like it's a lot easier to get sniper kills. Now, the trade-off is that there's only, in this beta, I only saw, like in Conquest, 2 maps being used over and over again, which one's more of a, you know, you're in the streets, you're in the city, so there's a lot more narrower, you know, battlefields to have. Whereas the other one's giant open field, you're going up this mountainous area, and so snipers galore. Very often, you would have entire areas of the map just unattainable. You can't go there, because the moment you do, you get shot by snipers. Now, the benefit is you see their light from a distance away.
Which has always been a thing.
Which has always been a thing. So, at the very least, they're not too hidden, but Jesus Christ, it can get overwhelming. Like, you look out onto the enemy side of the field.
That's usually what kills it for me for Battlefield games. It's a spawn far away from the objective, run for 45 seconds to the objective, get shot by sniper, do it again.
Pretty good variety of guns. There's a nice feature that I like where when you go in to customize your weapon, you have the access to go to the training mode. And because technology has advanced so much that, you know, one of the big brands for something like the PlayStation is slow loading times. And so this allows for you to go very quickly into the training room when you change out some sight attachment and you want to see how the gun performs. You're really able to quickly go in, test it, change it if you so want to. At the core of it, it is more Battlefield. It's a clean Battlefield experience, but it's one where coming back to it after so many years away, it's pleasant, you know? And it's a game I see myself buying, but I've moved past the point where I'm just playing hours upon hours of multiplayer games. And so it's going to be one of those ones I jump into whenever I get the itch, which, again, the caveat of not having as low of a skill ceiling makes it to where I'll probably more often than not get the feeling to go into Battlefield and get my shit kicked in. But we'll see when the full game comes out.
Rock on.